coming in there when you needed him.
Yeah, Pete, he's done a good job with that. It's important that these guys, as they go through the ebb and flows of the season and game by game, is they stay locked in, they stay focused. And I think most importantly, more than anything, is that they understand that we always are supporting them and we need to be coaching them and still be tough on them, but also have that one play away mentality. And you saw that yesterday. And Wanye's done that this whole time, and he came in and played well. And he just needs to keep growing, and he will. He's young, and I think we all just need to keep that in perspective. But I like where he's at right now, and we just got to continue to stay true to what he's doing well, and continue to teach him what he's not doing great, and we can keep working at that.
We'll go next to Jesse Newell. Jesse.
Hey, Matt, I just wondered what you've seen from DeAndre Hopkins when it comes to Xavier and his development, just bringing him in here and how he's helped.
Yeah, it started right away, Jesse. It was something where I think both guys understand what they're coming into. So D-Hop comes in, he's trying to learn kind of a new way of how we do things here, which every team is different. And then he's kind of learning that wide receiver room as well. So, but it's a little different and unique when you're a guy like D-Hop and you've played as many games as you've played, you've had as much success as you had. And now to have a young rookie who is trying to get his first year under his belt and still find out from D-Hop, hey, what are some tricks to the trade? You know, what can I do as a rookie, if you can remember back then and how it was for you? And then that bond and that friendship starts, and it just continues in practice. The dialogue on game day amongst those guys on the bench and, talking through plays is phenomenal. I really wish everyone could kind of have a part of that and understand the stuff that goes on, not just from coach to player, but player to player and how they talk through that. So D-Hop's been amazing. He's been really good. And Xavier's been great taking it all in. And I think he's improving as well.
We'll go next to Adam Teicher. Adam?
Hey, Matt, I wanted to ask you about Worthy. What have you seen from him in recent weeks that's allowed him to become a more productive, consistently productive player?
Confidence, and the game is slowing down for him, Adam. It reminds me so much of Rasheed last year. It's crazy how much it reminds me of that same type of avenue that Rasheed went through last year. It was a little slow for the first 4, 5, 6 weeks. And then weeks like 7, 8, 9, 10, you can sense it. You might not see it in the stat book, but you can sense it as a coach. You can sense it from watching tape. And now all of a sudden, you naturally see more targets. You see more touches. You see more production. It's exactly what happened with Rasheed. And I'm telling you, it's crazy how, similar it is. And it's exciting because you see what Rasheed came into this year, what he did early on. And I think that's the path for this kid.
We'll go next to Sam McDowell. Sam?
Hey, Matt, just generally speaking, wondered what you thought of Hollywood's debut and just sort of the game plan to potentially ramp him up as these last couple of weeks progress too.
Yeah, Sam, he did a really good job of, we had to hold him back a little bit. He wanted to get in there and play like every play, but we also have to protect him from himself. These guys, he's been out for a little while, but I don't know how you felt, but I mean, just big picture, I think we felt you could just feel his presence when he's out there on the field, whether it's the speed, whether it's the experience, the knowledge of the offense, and just kind of what he did in training camp. And it was a good thing. So I think, you try to increase it maybe more and more as we go here, and we'll leave that up to coach in the end, how much that is. But everything that he did, it was, I think the best word is exciting. He made some plays early on, and you can feel that speed and experience that he brings.
We'll go next to Nate Taylor. Nate?
Hey, Matt, I've noticed that, you guys have used Samaje a little bit more in the passing game. I wonder how much of what you guys were able to do with Jerick McKinnon is transferable to Samaje, whether that's just the passing game out of the backfield or obviously incorporating him in screenplays.
Yeah, I would say for what he does, they're very similar. So I think, Nate, for they're different in the fact that, Piron's a little bit bigger. And so whether it comes to some of the protection stuff, and I would say McKinnon has a real good savvy feel to a lot of different things that Piron has as well. And I think you're starting to see that just like yesterday, we hit him on that that swing route there in the backfield. And not only did he make a great catch and a great run down the sideline, but he also got out of bounds, which was at that point in time important at the end of the half. And then at the end of the game, a critical time, I think that really reminded me of McKinnon and being able to kind of slide to the flat and get open in that look that he gave. So very similar body types, maybe a little bit different, but very similar as far as their mindset and how they think. And when you have that in the backfield, whether it's third down or any other time, but more importantly, third down, protection-wise, where to go, and then how to have that route savviness in the backfield, it really, really helps you out a lot.
Looks like we have 3 more for you, Coach. We'll go first to Nick Jacobs.
And Kelsey, I'll have a follow-up if I can, please. Matt, headed into that Raiders game last year till now, you guys have gone 20-2, and you guys have won 17 games by 8 points or less. What does it take culture-wise, buy-in-wise, and everything combined in that building to have that level of success in that time frame?
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point, Nick, and it's something where for the team, like when you just step back and you look at it from the 30,000-foot view as a team, it starts with Coach Reed. I mean, his message is so consistent to the guys that there is so much parity in this league that you better be ready for it. And it's easy to talk about situational football. Some situations you touch on or you hit in the game, and we've had certainly so many now that every game is so darn close. Even last night, the last play of the game with Kareem going down. I mean, how normal is it if you go back to Kareem's rookie year, we played the Chargers, and he ran the ball down the sideline and ran for about 70 yards at the end of the game and scored a touchdown. And we were in a mode to get down, and he didn't. And yesterday, here we are, however many years it is later, same thing hit my brain. Okay, he's going to score. He knew to get down, and he did get down. And I think it just speaks to experience situationally. These games are going to be close. Offense helping defense, defense helping offense, et cetera. But Coach Reed does such a great job of making sure that we all understand. Mike Frazier, right? You go back to the Super Bowl last year. Same thing, understanding overtime. So it's a collective deal. We try to teach it, and then the players got to put it into fruition.
And then lastly, for me, what do you see from the Steelers defense and the quick turnaround you've got so far?
Well, I mean, their defense is very, very physical, and that starts with their head coach, Coach Tomlin. I mean, they fly around. You just see so many times on tape where they're just punching the ball out. And when you have one of the best players in the NFL on defense and TJ Watt, that's going to happen. I think 56 Highsmith is a hell of a player too. Really, really good player. So on the back end, I know they're banged up a little bit, but they got great players back there, and on the inside with Patrick Queen. So short week, we got to stick to what we do best and know that they're going to play fast. It's a mindset game. You got to protect the football. We've been good at doing that recently. So just stick to that right there and understand it's probably going to be a close game. How are we going to do in that close game?
We'll go next to Matt Derrick. Matt?
Hey, Coach.
Hey,
Obviously, hey, Matt. Obviously, in the backfield, you've got a couple of guys that you have a lot of faith in, but how do you manage that, so that, at the running back spot, they talk about the feel and needing touches, to really get into it. How do you manage that going into the postseason? Is it a just truly split backfield between those two, or do you try and make sure you see if one can get the hot hand and go with him?
It's a good point because they both bring kind of a different type of play style to us, and then the other guys too. I mean, I'm talking about with Pops and with Kareem, they're different. And then you throw Pirine in there, and Carson. There's a lot going on. I think there certainly is a little bit of a feel. It might be for those guys too. I think they understand that it's probably good for both of them as we get going here and our team in the fact that they're fresh legs. So when they are in there, it's not like they're getting 27 carries a game and they're wearing down physically. It's not easy. I can promise you that it's not. And I think Coach Pinkston does a really good job of being able to try to balance that. And then it's our job as coaches, Matt, to make sure that, let's just say, I mean, we can all put ourselves in a position. Let's just say you're the guy that's not getting as many carries. We got to make sure that you understand, hey man, you're a big time part of this. Your time's coming, and it could flip from game to game, but we're in this thing together. And they know that at any given point in time, they could be the guy on 3rd and 1, or they could be the guy on 3rd and 10 that has to make a catch to help this team win. And I think the selflessness message is the most important. And those guys absolutely have that.
We'll go last to Adam Teicher. Adam?
Hey, Matt, wanted to ask you about something you said about Worthy earlier. You said around week 7 and 8, you could sort of sense that it was coming with him, even if you couldn't see it. How did you sense that? Like, what told you this kind of thing? He was expanding as a player, even if you weren't getting the results.
Sure. So I'd say number one, Adam, he was getting lined up without mistakes, breaking the huddle and going to where he's supposed to go confidently. So some guys jog out of the huddle and they're thinking as they run to the line of scrimmage. He knew right away where to line up in the plays. That's the first part. The second part is within the play, you could tell that he was running his route with speed and getting to that spot because he knew how to get there, where to go, and what to do versus that defense. Prior to that, there was probably more thinking. So the route might have been where he's supposed to go and be, but it wasn't quite as crisp or as fast. The third level of this now with him, Adam, is what we're feeling and what we're seeing. And part of this is on the sideline too, is his own confidence and understanding that even if he doesn't get the ball, he might get open, or if he runs a route and gets covered, he learns from that. And he's coming back in between plays and drives and having reps in practice to where he's understanding what it takes to be a successful wide receiver in this league. And that's staying on time, playing fast, and then making the play when the play is given to you. And he's done a phenomenal job at that. And I think that's the biggest thing that we feel is just that. So now just continue to keep doing it here as the speed of the game, as we move forward in the playoffs, everything's faster. So it's even going to pick up from what he's been seeing.
Thanks, Coach. That's all we've got for you.
Okay. Y'all take care. Happy holidays.
We'll go first to Jesse Newell then. Jesse?
Hey, Steve, I just wanted to ask you what your main takeaway was from Saturday's game.
Yeah, would have liked to have played a little bit better in the first half, especially third down. But I did think we came out in the second half and did what we had to do. The kid made a great throw on that one touchdown. Unfortunately, the kid got hurt because Trent was with him there. The quarterback was really impressive. But I like the way we battled in the second half and found a way to keep them to 19 points.
We'll go next to Pete Sweeney. Pete?
Coach, one thing that stood out about the McDuffie pick was that Charles and Trent both kind of said after the game, we needed each other to make that play. I guess when you look at something like that, how much can that be a launch pad for the stretch here and then the playoffs?
Yeah, listen, we're all excited about the fact that Trent has found his way to make a couple of catches and interceptions. He's happy about it. It was a great one last week, and then he was in perfect position on this one. And listen, a lot of times when you do get interceptions, it's Russian coverage, right? And they kind of work hand in hand. So if we keep getting guys to get in quarterbacks' faces to maybe change the trajectory of the ball, and then our guys can get their eyes back and get some picks, that'll help us. I mean, down the stretch here, certainly winning the turnover ratio is huge.
We'll go next to Sam McDowell. Sam?
Hey, Steve. Wondered if you could backtrack to training camp and give us an idea of just how difficult Hollywood was for your defense when you guys were playing against them so frequently in training camp, and what made him a difficult cover.
Yeah, he's pretty slippery, Sam. Like I think he's really good at the line of scrimmage and avoiding press. And we're a big press team. And the other thing too, I mean, the offense would know better than me, but he appears to be like a sure-handed wideout. And the other thing I noticed about him, just from looking from afar, he's a very confident guy, like all these really good ones are, right? They want the ball in their hand because they're confident in what they can do with it. And I didn't get to see many of the offensive snaps because I'm a little bit busy during that time, but it sure sounds like he's been a pretty big boost for our offense.
We'll go next to Nate Taylor. Nate?
Hello, Steve. Based on what you were trying to accomplish with Jaden Hicks in training camp, how much of what he's doing right now is what you sort of built on during training camp, or how much of it has sort of expanded his role between maybe the start of the season and now?
Yeah, I think his growth process and curve has been really what we expected and really what we hoped for. I think he has just gotten better and better and better. I think he gets more confident every week. You know what I really like about him, Nate? Like when we go through these walkthroughs and we're sitting there and it's more mental, he is into every snap, whether it's a walkthrough or it's regular practice rep. He's anticipating things pre-snap. He's doing all those things that you want your safeties to do from a mental standpoint, and that's encouraging. And he's gone out there and made a couple of plays on the ball, so that's helpful.
Looks like we have a couple more for you, Coach. We'll go next to Blair Kirkhoff.
Hey, Steve, wanted to ask you about Chris Jones. He's played a career high snap percentage this season, and I'm just wondering what led you to believe that he could handle that this year, and how's he doing with it?
It doesn't seem to complain, Blair. I haven't heard it. I think he always wants to be out there. Quite frankly, I hear it the other way when we try to pull back on him. You know him, he wants to be out there all the time. But I think this was brought up a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's a really good point. We certainly don't want to wear Chris out, try to keep the play snap down for everybody because we know we are in the playoffs right now. And we'll be conscious of it. We'll see where he is with the injury. But I think the reason he's out there so much is we all like having him out on the field.
We'll go next to Nick Jacobs. Nick?
And Kelsey, I have a follow-up if you can, please. Steve, with the Joshua Williams having the big blitz there at the end of the game yesterday, and then Shamari having one earlier this year where he forced that fumble, what is it you've learned over time about having that lightning bolt moment and kind of saving some of those in those key situations on the gotta have it moments?
Yeah, I mean, that's a credit to the guys. I mean, we happened to call that one. I thought they executed it exactly the way we needed. What gets missed is on the inside. Drew was part of that blitz, and he chewed up the running back, which is what we need. And then Josh kind of turned on the jets. And, when you get in that situation, it looks like it's easy, but you got to make sure with a quarterback like that it doesn't give you a little juke and you miss him. So fortunately for Josh, he throttled down and got the quarterback on the ground. That was big in that moment. If you're going to win these games against these really good football teams, you got to make plays in those key moments. And Josh did. I was happy for him because I think that would give him a boost of confidence.
And then what are you seeing from the Steelers offense?
Yeah, listen, first of all, that quarterback, we know what he's about. He's all about making big plays. He loves to chuck the ball deep. He's got guys that he's got a lot of confidence in to go up and get it. And we got to be on point back there. I mean, we've been playing the ball pretty well in the back end in the last couple of games, and that needs to continue in this game. And when we get these 50-50 jump balls against the Pittsburgh Steelers, we gotta try to win more than we lose on there. And that'll make a big difference in the game. Thanks.
And we'll go last to Matt Derrick. Matt.
Hey, Coach, and Kelsey, I have a follow-up if you don't mind. Chris Roland Wallace got his first start yesterday. How did you feel like he performed to fill it in for Chamari?
I thought he did a great job. He's one of those guys that I've been real hopeful for all season long. You know, the more reps he gets, the better he gets. And he's a real smart, intelligent football player with some instincts. You know, he's played special teams for Dave. I'm happy for him. He'll probably tell you that he made one key mistake that we could fix because that's all he could think about at the end of the game. And I told him, look, think about the other good plays that you made because he played 30-odd something plays for us. And I thought he did a solid job going in there and filling in for Chamari.
And as you're kind of trying to find your way through that other corner position and trying to see which one of those guys can step up, also, how will Steven Nelson filter into that? And how close is he ready to maybe?
Yeah, good question. Hard to find an answer on it because the one hard thing when somebody comes in this late, and especially in Steve's situation where he really wasn't with another team, it's getting yourself up to speed. He has done a terrific job in practice. He goes against he works on the scout team and goes against the real good wideouts, Xavier and those guys. So there's some speed there. I love the way he finishes plays. I love the way he practices. I love his work ethic. You know, we'll see if we can get him up to the point where, you know, the system's all new for him, right? Even though he was here before, it was before the system. So it's going to take a little while. And listen, NJ and Josh have done an admirable job to this point. I don't think you disrupt things just to disrupt them, but having Steven there is a good, good emergency just in case. We just got to see where he's at.
Thanks, Coach. That's all we have for you.
Got it. Thank you.